When selling your house, it is vital to stay one step ahead of the competition.
So I'm giving 3 homeowners the chance to do just that by snooping around each other's houses.
This looks like it hasn't been decorated for quite a long time.
As an office, it's OK. As a house, no, we'll pass, I think.
Yes.
Today, one home needs a complete overhaul.
Get a skip on the drive and throw it all out.
And another isn't a home at all.
What confuses everybody is the fact that you've got an enormous office in your downstairs.
They'll get £1,000 and a week to sort out the problems.
Is it too late to change my mind?
Oh, God.
Yes, it could be asbestos.
But can they do enough to get an offer from my buyer?
Don't like the wallpaper.
In West Sussex on the south coast, property prices have increased 8% in the past year. So I'm here helping 3 homeowners cash in by selling their houses. I've lined up buyer Mark, who, with the help of his mum Julia, is looking to move out of the family home and in with his girlfriend.
Now, I'm right in thinking that this is a joint investment, isn't it? This is a mother and son, you're going for it together.
This is, yeah.
OK. You're actively encouraging this move, I take it, which means you're going to have a cleaner house,
Yes.
a quieter house.
Fridge is going to be full, no ironing.
I've said, though, I will still be dropping my washing round.
Obviously, that goes without saying. So you're not frightened of a project, are you? Because I know you're quite handy around a house.
I would prefer to have something to do a little bit of work to,
OK.
but it wouldn't be the end of the world, you know. If I was to stumble across my dream property, it wouldn't, you know, I'm not going to complain.
What about style of property? Modern, old, not really bothered? Has it just got to have that sort of feel?
I quite like old to make look modern, you know.
Yeah. So old on the outside,
Yeah.
modern on the inside, yeah.
Yeah, I like modern places, really.
Oh, this is good then. So everyone's in agreement.
Yeah. Well, at the moment.
I'm looking forward to this. Should we go and crack on? Look
Yeah.
at the first one.
Definitely.
So to find that modern home, or was that an old home, Mark has a budget of up to £825,000.
Mark is keen to move on and get out of his parents' home. And I've got 3 properties lined up which should hopefully send him packing.
First up, our aerospace company director James and wife Helen, whose house for the last 6 years has been the perfect setting for many a party.
We love the house. Initially when we came here, the kitchen was the first thing we saw, and instantly you could tell it was going to be a party house. Hot tub, optics on the wall. We liked the flow of the house being quite open planned, but it just had that feeling of, yeah, you could have friends around and have a good evening.
But though their social life is lively, their decor definitely isn't.
It's very neutral, I think. I've tried to be quite minimalistic and I don't really like clutter and stuff, hence I probably don't like colour too much. I do like colour, but just not in my house.
Lots of magnolia, which I don't actually like.
I think that's the first Helen's heard of this. Their party home has 4 bedrooms and all the mod cons to keep buyer Mark happy. It is at the top of his budget, though, at £825,000. My next sellers are property developer Pat and her personal assistant Julie, who's helping her sell.
Well, the style of this house is, I would think, rather traditional, conservative. It's sort of bland. When I bought this house some years ago, I thought it lent itself for that. Now I'm not so sure.
But there's nothing traditional about the way Pat uses her home, as she's turned most of the downstairs into an office.
I don't live very much in the rest of the house. I'm mainly in the office, upstairs in my bedroom. Month in, month out, I won't even use the sitting room. I won't sit here at all.
You're just on the go.
It's just on the go all the time.
Well, you'll find yourself going nowhere if you don't sort that office out, Pat. This quirky 5-bed detached home has the period exterior our buyers prefer and enough work needed to suit son Mark. It also comes with a plot of land, pushing the price up to £750,000. My final home is owned by publishing director Tony and his wife Sue, who've stamped their eclectic taste throughout their home.
Individual rooms reflect different styles that I've always liked. And this is a French theme, but I've got a bit of modern and my kitchen's a bit country. So I think that there are various styles reflected in this house.
The trouble here is that nothing flows, though there is one unifying theme.
You will see around our house lots of pictures and ornaments of pugs, because when you've got those sort of, distinct breed, people buy you lots of things. Anything pug-like, they think you're going to love.
Dog lovers, cover your ears, but the pugs have to go. Sue and Tony's eclectically styled 1960s chalet bungalow has 4 bedrooms and stunning views over a golf course. It's on the market at £750,000. So it's Helen and James's modern but colourless party house, Pat and Julie's quirky home office, and Sue and Tony in their mismatched pug-filled house, all competing for an offer from my buyers Mark and Julia. The sellers now get the chance to snoop around each other's houses and hopefully pick up some tips and ideas to bring back to their own properties to increase the chance of a sale. First stop is Sue and Tony's.
Sue and Tony aren't afraid to rock a bit of glam style when it comes to their own personal appearance, but their house seems to lack definition, with a bit of a mismatch of style and touches. However, the other sellers should see past the ornaments and realise that that homely feel is really attractive to buyers.
This is quite sweet.
Yeah.
Really nice.
This is nice, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Wallpaper. That's the first thing I noticed.
And the pug behind you.
That's nice. Yeah.
That's very floral.
Flowers there, the chandelier, and all the decorations. Yes, maybe a little bit too much of everything.
How about the dining room?
It's very bland, though. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah,
It's
it's not
special. No, I think this is slightly disappointing.
I quite like the colours.
Like all
I quite...
the pugs everywhere.
Yeah.
For me, it's just too much going on. I wouldn't find this a very relaxing room to sit in. I prefer it a little bit more, for me, neutral.
No surprises there.
Too much clutter. and
Yeah,
little
just
bits
a few
and pieces.
bits, yeah.
But I think this is very relaxing. I mean, amazing.
This house is on the market at £750,000 exactly.
Well, that's not too bad, is it?
No, I mean...
Because it's quite big, and I think the location's going to have...
Lovely views, yeah.
I would have probably said maybe 650.
I would say 750.
Would you?
Only because of the views.
They are pretty good. So first snoop done, and Pat has noted the homely feel here. And Helen should have picked up some tips on colour, though I'm not sure she did. Next, we're at Pat's.
Pat's house has bags of potential with some lovely period features and a huge amount of space, but it does have some very obvious problems. At the moment, it feels more like an office than a home, and because of Pat's busy lifestyle, it does feel a little neglected.
Oh, it's Victorian. It's unusual because it seems to have 3 doors.
This is quite nice.
Yeah, it's quite pretty.
Like sash windows and
Yeah,
stuff.
I
It's
like
got a
that,
nice bit of
yeah.
character and...
I like the old style.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Inside, and the first room they come across is the unused dining room.
This looks like it hasn't been decorated for quite a long time.
Not really sure what sort of room this is, I guess. I don't know.
I think it's like a dining room or a second sitting room
Yeah.
or something like that.
Oh, I wonder what this is used for. Oh, dining, I suppose.
I must say I wasn't expecting this.
Quite an eclectic looking room, isn't it?
That's one way of saying it's a mess, but you ain't seen nothing yet.
Oh no, it's a false ceiling with those strip lights.
That is bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah.
Clearly these guys must work from home or
And the
something.
piano at the end.
Oh yeah, random.
As an office, it's okay. As a house, no, we'll pass, I think.
A thumbs down for the office from Tony, but the living room is getting better reviews.
Oh, now this is much cosier and at last it feels a bit like a house.
And in the bedroom,
I quite like this room.
It's nice and light, isn't it? I think because you've got all the windows and everything.
this house, along with the extra land, is on the market for £750,000.
I'm quite staggered at that price, really.
I think it's on for a little bit too much money and it makes our house look really good value for money.
So everyone is in agreement that the standard of this house isn't up to the price tag. Last of all, we're at Helen and James's.
This is a real party house with plenty of great size rooms and a very swanky hot tub in the back garden. But Helen and James's fear of colour means that although the house is immaculate, it does lack a bit of character. However, the other sellers should take inspiration from the quality and finish here.
This is like a sort of amazing house.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Oh, this is really pretty. This is a nice house.
It's a bit bland, isn't it? There's not much colour, is there? I don't think this can be a sitting room, though. Maybe a den with that big TV there.
The front room is not inspiring anyone, but the downstairs bedroom has at least got Sue and Tony thinking about their own house.
Downstairs
Oh, blimey.
bedroom.
I didn't expect a bedroom down here.
Because our dining room is really our fourth bedroom, this actually works quite well to have a bedroom in it.
Spot on, Sue. And in the living room,
I mean, this is a bachelor pad. It's obviously a bachelor pad. There's no feminine touches.
not sure owner Helen would like to hear you say that.
We
This
have
is
got
nice.
far too much stuff. This is minimalist, rather elegant, and we've got things all over the place.
The sound of pennies dropping is like music to my ears.
This is really lovely. It's very, very
Could you
nice.
imagine having a party? Everyone would be
Yes.
crowding round here, wouldn't they?
Yes.
Spilling over there into the garden. No,
Yes.
I like this. I wouldn't change.
Look at all that. No. Brilliant.
Perhaps that's because this house doesn't have a huge office, but it is the most expensive at £825,000.
I'm not surprised it's more than ours because of the quality of the finishing.
That's too high to me. I would say about 700,000 on this one.
So a difference of opinion on the high price tag, but both sellers have taken home tips on presentation and the benefit of a clutter-free home. I'm in West Sussex, where buyers Mark and Julia are investing together so Mark can leave home.
I want to find a place which I can put my own stamp on, really, so I'm not afraid to spend a bit of money, to make a bit of money, hopefully, potentially. And again, you know, if it's ready and I walk in and I find my dream home, you know, I'll be happy with that as well.
Well, hopefully there will be something to get Mark and Julia excited about. But before they view the three properties, the owners have snooped around each other's houses to work out what changes need to be made back home.
I think using colours maybe in our house would help define some of the areas because ours is very open plan.
I think the main thing I learnt today was that our house is very personalised to us, and I think it's very cluttered now.
I mean, the standards we've seen, amazing, amazing. We've got to get some ideas, don't you?
I'm glad to see everyone has learned. Now, before they start spending their £1,000 budget, I need to make sure they do the right things with it, starting with Pat and Julie and that great big office in the living room. So, Pat and the right-hand woman, Julie, one of the big things you learnt about looking at the other houses was the importance of presentation, wasn't it?
Yes, certainly it was. And really, I learnt quite a lot.
The thing is with your house, your curb appeal, spot on.
Yes, yes.
Looks fantastic from the outside.
Yes.
And then when you come inside, it all gets a bit confusing.
Yes,
doesn't
of
it?
course, yes. It's a bit muddly, yes.
A little bit
I
muddly.
would agree, yes, it is, yes.
And for me, it's the downstairs that is the reason why this house isn't selling.
You are absolutely right. It is the downstairs.
What confuses everybody is the fact that you've got an enormous office in your downstairs.
Yes.
So I think we should focus
Yes.
on this room.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
What I
Yes.
think you should do in here
Yes.
is move all of this upstairs.
Yes, okay.
Make 2 of the bedrooms
Yes.
into your offices.
Yes, yes, yes.
Get this all out and
Yes.
reclaim this as
Yes.
a beautiful
Yeah.
living room.
Yeah, okay, we'll do that.
Be bold, be brave, and you strike me as a bold, brave lady. So get some lovely, interesting wallpaper up there as well.
Yes, yes.
Carpet up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If you've got floorboards, sand them back.
Yes.
They'll look absolutely wonderful.
Okay.
Get this ceiling off
Yes,
because this
it's
really
horrible,
doesn't
isn't
work
it?
either.
Yes, that's right.
Bit of a rejig.
Okay, that's
Okay.
fine.
Good, this is why I like enthusiasm, because you've not started the job yet. Lucky Pat and Julia are up for some hard work, as there is more to do. Lots more. Now, obviously, because you just have a small job to do with the office, I thought I'd bring you into another room as well. What is it? What do you don't use it for anything, do you?
No, I just dump my
Dumping grounds,
suitcase
isn't it?
here.
Yeah.
I don't do much.
I think a major declutter is needed in here. Maybe think about turning it into a snug.
Okay.
Think about maybe putting, utilise the books, but put them on a bookshelf or on a bookcase. For me, I like the sort of moss greens, the sage greens. You could do a lovely sort of country chic look in here.
Okay. Well, this could be easily painted over with a sort of greeny colour, couldn't it? Just it wouldn't take very long at all.
No, not at all.
Yeah, put some shelter books.
And maybe you just
Yes.
give it a sense of purpose.
How long have I got? A month at least.
Bless you, 7 days. 7 days and £1,000.
You see, this is my kind of house. So much charm, so much history, but the downstairs is really letting it down. It is so confusing. They need to get rid of that office because I think that is what's putting people off. They both seem up for it, but whether or not they'll do it in 7 days with £1,000 remains to be seen.
I think our chat with Amanda was really, really interesting, wasn't it?
Yes, very enlightening.
Yeah.
It gave me ideas I never thought of, and when she told me about them and mentioned them and I was in the different rooms, amazingly, I thought it would work.
Pat gets the builders in straight away to remove that dreadful strip lighting and office ceiling.
Great moment of discovery.
But what lies underneath is not good news.
Lava plaster.
Lava plaster.
Lath and plaster?
Lath and plaster?
Well, what a shame.
So it's not the old wooden beams Pat was hoping for, but a plastered ceiling is still a whole lot better than those horrible tiles.
There's lots of ways we can go, but it's more the time we've got.
I think it's quite a smooth ceiling. I think just paint.
Next, I'm visiting Sue and Tony, who've had their eyes opened by the snoops, and what they've seen is a whole lot of stuff.
So, Sue and Tony, you learnt quite a bit, didn't you, from looking at the other properties? One being that there's a lot of personality in your house. So when you came back to your house, what did you think?
Get a skip on the drive and throw it all out.
Really?
I did. And now I'm looking at a total mismatch of styles and I've lost my way.
When did
Amanda.
we go through the pug and cat phase?
So we are pug people.
You are pug people.
Yes.
That's fine. There's a very fine line between showing your personality in a house and having it completely bland and the blank canvas that everybody talks about. But there needs to be a balance, because if there's too much of your personality, people can't see past
They struggle with it,
your
don't they?
things. I find it hard to see why it hasn't sold, but I can also see there are a few bits that need some work. Number one being the entrance hall. It's pink, and it's got quite an old-fashioned staircase. That's quite a sort of remnants of a sort of 70s, 80s. So several things. One is get this filled in.
Yeah.
Secondly is to get a new carpet going up.
Yeah.
So we can play around with ideas with that. The pink on the wall is quite a distinctive colour. It's quite a girly, feminine colour. I think it could be toned down a bit. I would just suggest painting over it. You don't need to take it all off, because that would take you forever, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But a much more neutral shade.
Sure.
Then we need to get onto the knick-knacks. Knick-knacks, ornaments, what do we call these things behind us?
Yeah.
Dust collectors.
Yes. No, you're absolutely right.
I think getting some of it into storage would be a very good idea, because you walk in and there's just so much to see in this hallway that you can't see the wood for the trees, so just pare it right down if you can and keep it much simpler.
So far, so good. Next, onto the dining room.
The thing is, you are marketing this house as a 4-bedroom house, aren't you?
We are.
This is your 4th bedroom, isn't it?
Yeah.
It would have
there
been
are
an original
options, yeah.
bedroom for the house when it was a bungalow, and we're just using it as a dining room.
This needs to be reclaimed back as a bedroom. And I know you're thinking, well, that's insane, because we won't use it as a bedroom, but we're more likely to use it as a dining room.
Yeah.
But the trouble is, if you're trying to sell it, you need to let people see that it's got 4 bedrooms.
Yeah, and I can see the sense in that.
If you were going to do it, you get everything out, you warm it up a wee bit, give it a go, try something different, and you never know.
I can see the sense
Yeah, I
in
think it's a
that.
good idea.
All right, well, that's
Yeah.
definitely another thought then.
Yeah.
What a wonderful couple. Sue has such a vibrant, bubbly personality, but their house feels like it's stuck in a bit of an 80s time warp, albeit a very glamorous 80s time warp. They need to depersonalise this house and get rid of some of the pugs and china ornaments, otherwise it will stay on the market.
I think Amanda's suggestions have been really constructive. It's given us a new view of our house. We've got an awful lot of work to do.
Glad they're on board, and Sue can't wait to get started.
Oh my goodness, this hasn't been out in a long time. It's very fluffy in there, and there's a spider. I think I might have to sack the cleaning lady.
To be fair, Sue, she probably spent most of her time polishing ornaments. To help clear the dining room, Sue's roped in her friend Carolyn.
I just have too much stuff. Everything is full.
Once Tony is home, it's time to remove the overbearing dining table.
It's a ton.
And with the table out of the way, time for a clean. Oh, silly me, a jive. Fancy footwork, ladies. Now get that hoover out. Last stop is Helen and James's house, where I want to address their fear of colour.
So guys, I think the biggest lesson that you learnt from looking at the other two houses is the fact that your house lacks colour. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And it's not that I don't like colour, it's just that I don't want to necessarily draw attention to it when I don't maybe know how to use it correctly.
Okay. Your house gets better as it goes on. The kitchen is stunning, the garden's amazing, that master bedroom, I'd kill for a bedroom like that. But the two rooms that you see when you first walk in, apart from the hallway, is this room and your guest bedroom. What do you use this room for?
We actually use it as a playroom for our children because we've got the big kitchen diner.
Okay, where are the toys?
Well, I tidied them.
Hidden away. Yeah, you can't find anything.
I think that you need to inject some fun and life into this room, and I think you need to make it a designated, proper playroom.
Right.
What would work brilliantly in here is that Hollywood vintage vibe. It would work great with the Airstream and just continue that theme in here. Is that a theme that you're comfortable with?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think that's quite nice because you can do kind of like quite retro and the black and whites and the chromes and things. Yeah. But then you can have the blasts of reds and maybe Union Jacks and bits and pieces like that.
Absolutely.
And again,
just release the inner beast, have fun with this room.
Okay.
And while her interior juices are flowing, it's the guest bedroom I want to tackle next.
You're marketing this as a 4-bedroomed house, aren't you? Yes. And this is your 4th bedroom. Yes. It feels much smaller than it actually is because of the enormous amount of enormous furniture. Not only do you have a lot of furniture in here, you've got enormous furniture in here.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a dumping ground.
The other sellers felt that this room in particular, but quite a lot of the house felt like a bit of a bachelor party pad.
Yeah, a bit masculine.
Yeah, would you agree or not?
I think now that you've kind of pointed it out,
I would think about clearing everything out and make this a much more feminine room. That sort of French grandeur, that kind of Baroque, beautiful. You can get those lovely carved headboards and you can use those beautiful sort of soft, chalky, vintage colours on the walls. Yeah. How are the DIY skills, both of you? I was thinking about, putting up wallpaper and all that kind of stuff. Are we going to get a man in?
Non-existent,
I don't know why I'm concerned.
Yeah. Some of ours are better than others.
Yeah, Helen does the wallpapering, actually.
Okay, good.
I think James is probably better off out of it. We call him half a job because he only does half a job and then he gets bored. And then usually I've got to do extra work to clean up after him and then finish the job.
Yeah, I can see where this is going to go. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
This is a fantastic house and it's got so much going for it. It's enormous and it's in a fantastic location. But I feel that they focus mainly on the big areas of the house, like the kitchen and the master bedroom, and they seem to have forgotten some of the other rooms. If they can get those rooms up to the same incredible standard, then I think this house will fly.
I think with all the suggestions that Amanda's given us, it is going to be quite a dramatic transformation, and I think we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely something to get our teeth into, a little project.
And the project is underway as Half a Job James starts by removing the furniture from the manly guest bedroom.
I think it's going to look great when it's done, but it's going to be a lot of work, but unfortunately not for me.
Sorry, James, are you going somewhere?
I'm sailing around the Isle of Wight this weekend. It's around the island yacht race, so it was all planned, I'm afraid, way in advance. So it's all down to Helen and any friends she can recruit to get the work done.
So Half a Job lives up to his name.
James out of the picture actually is a godsend because I'm not tripping up over him and he's not trying to interfere. He's not confusing matters.
Here in West Sussex, I've briefed my 3 sellers on how to improve their houses. And using the £1,000 I've given them, they're all hoping they'll do enough to entice buyers Mark and Julia to make an offer.
Nice big back garden, decent-sized bedrooms. I like open plans, sort of kitchen, living room areas.
There are just a few days before the buyers arrive, so in an effort to turn her office back into a living room, Pat is getting the builders to remove the old carpet. But there's a problem, a big problem.
Pat, unfortunately, what we found here, which is the tiles, which we have a suspicion that they're asbestos. So unfortunately, we've got to come to a stop and go through the appropriate means of getting these tested.
So work stops as an asbestos team is called to assess the situation. With the experts on site, it soon becomes clear that there is asbestos. So Health and Safety Director Robert must assess how bad the problem is.
Worst case scenario in this project is that we could uncover an asbestos insulation board. That could potentially be a minimum 14-day notification to the Health and Safety Executive. This is the point where we're going to find out how difficult the job's actually going to be, whether we're going to have to individually take the floor tiles up, or if we're lucky, that they're on a chipboard and we can take that in its entirety.
Any building built before 2000 can potentially contain asbestos, though asbestos materials in good condition are safe and less fibres become airborne. So as long as the asbestos is not damaged or sited somewhere where it can easily be damaged, it won't be a risk to you. But if it is found, removal should always be carried out by a trained professional. So until they know more, all they can do is wait.
Yeah, we can't do any more now.
Disappointing.
Very disappointing, yes.
Over at Sue and Tony's, work continues improving first impressions in their chintzy hallway. Tony is removing the carpet to get ready to fill in the risers.
So I've been out and ordered the wood today, and that will be coming later on. I haven't seen these stairs for 9 years. Wow. I can see why we put carpet around them.
Outside, Sue has decided to add some extra glam for some units she's going to put in the hallway.
I'm now going to try painting some of my old furniture that was mahogany black. It's going to be the big colour in the hall. It's going to give it its wow factor.
Loving your enthusiasm, Sue. And whilst they've got the brushes out, it's time to start painting the once dining room, now the 4th bedroom.
Looking fresher already.
Unlike me. Looking tattier by the minute.
At James and Helen's, it's Operation Add Some Colour, and she's dived in headfirst with a bright red in the playroom.
Is it too late to change my mind?
Yes, it certainly is.
With the bold red going on, Helen moves on to the other walls and a colour she's more comfortable with.
I'm painting the grey because it's nice and easy on the eye and it's calming. I like to paint the simple colours. It's better for my feng shui.
Whatever gets the job done, Helen. She then moves into the drab guest bedroom to add some much-needed oomph with a pretty floral wallpaper.
It's really nice.
It's gorgeous.
It's quite girly.
And now it's all taking shape, Helen seems more at home with the changes.
At the beginning of this task, I was finding it all a bit overwhelming, to be fair, but now it's all starting to come together.
So while it's all go at the other two places, Pat is about to find out just how big her asbestos problem is.
Well, I've got good news. It's as we were hoping, the asbestos tiles actually are on a fibre board.
What this means is that the tiles can be safely removed in one day.
Oh, yes.
Very good news. Yeah, big relief that it's not as disastrous as we thought it could be.
That's right. Well, we could have had to wait another week while it was all cleared up.
Good news all round, and for the sum of £220, the asbestos is gone. Next door, in the living room with no problems, asbestos or otherwise, Pat's hired a decorator to give it a coat of paint.
So I'm hoping it will change the character of the room, this mossy green above this white panelling.
And it's not long before they can start decorating the office too.
That is amazing.
At Sue and Tony's with the hallway painted, decorator friend Mick is cutting out the risers to fill in the open staircase. And once the first riser is cut to size, Mick glues some back grippers to hold them in position before putting the actual risers in and tacking them into place.
Imagine what that's going to look like when the carpet gets down as well.
And once the carpet fitter is finished in the new 4th bedroom, it is time to cover those stairs.
Oh my God, that is just fabulous.
At Helen and James's, Helen has reverted to type, and the red wall in the playroom has gone grey.
I didn't like putting it up. I didn't like it was there. I lived with it for a few days. I still didn't like it. so it just had to go.
That's a real shame, but the room won't be completely bland, as Helen has spent £150 on an aeroplane mural to add a bit of fun.
Slightly nervous about this, just because if I make a mistake, you can't just get another piece of wallpaper. This has to work.
Best get your measurements right then.
I got James to measure this because I was on the school run, and it's actually about 3-4 inches too big.
Half a job James strikes again, but ever quick to find a solution, Helen gets the scissors out and job done.
It's been a lot of hard work and Joe's been amazing. Thank you.
You're welcome.
But it looks fantastic. I'm so pleased with both rooms now. It looks amazing.
At Pat's house, the carpet is going down in the newly reclaimed living room and the homely feel is really starting to come together.
When Amanda sees this room, I think she'll be very impressed.
Downstairs, the huge office was making this house seem more business than a home. Now it's been transformed into a warm and inviting living area. And though Pat's gone over budget, spending £1,785 in here alone, it's well worth it.
I'm almost speechless. I'm so impressed with what you've done. It feels so much bigger. It feels lighter.
Yes, it is lighter. And it is bigger.
Yeah. It's incredible. It really is. I can see how much this has increased this property's saleability.
Of course, yes.
Can you?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
But you've now created a house that people could move into and do the work a bit at a time.
Yes. Now, the downstairs equals the upstairs. That's why it will sell now.
This front room was once a dumping ground, but with a good clear out and paint, it's now a presentable reception area.
Ladies, you've done such a brilliant job.
Thank you, thank you.
It's been a busy 7 days, hasn't it?
Yes. But it's so amazing, Amanda, that just a different colour, mossy green, instead of the yellow, has changed this room.
Completely. It feels very calm.
Just one
and
colour
peaceful.
one.
I think you've transformed this room. And I think what's lovely about this room is that you've now shown it off to its best ability. You've kept it furnished but very simply, so people could come in here and use it for whatever they felt they wanted to use it for.
Yes.
But it's just wonderful.
At Sue and Tony's, they're making the final improvements to the hallway.
I can't believe it's done, but it's looking fabulous. We have got the big wow factor as you walk in.
The hallway was a dark, unwelcoming entrance full of Sue and Tony's knick-knacks. By clearing and lightening it up and filling in the staircase, it's a much brighter space. Total cost, £950.
What a difference.
I know, Amanda. I'm shocked at how I put up with that. So bored, I am.
We're both amazed, actually, at the transformation, particularly in the hall.
Yeah.
Absolutely wonderful.
This was the room that there was a lot going on, wasn't there? There were lots of ornaments and it was all a little bit much, but pared back, the staircase looks wonderful because the one that you had here last week was very dated. The carpet had seen better days and that sort of open staircase does sort of remind you of the kind of 70s and 80s, but now it's modern, the new carpet, bang up to date. Let's go and look at what was the dining room and is now your fourth bedroom.
The dining room was a bland and dreary space, but now it's been turned into a characterful, boutique-style bedroom.
Oh, look at your face and look at your room!
I love this room.
Wow! It's so pretty. It's so you, and it's so pretty.
And it's so calming. It's a lovely guest bedroom. I really want to move down here now.
I think by transforming this room back into a bedroom, it's increased its saleability because you're marketing this as a 4-bed house and you're selling it at £750,000. People need to see the 4 bedrooms. It's beautiful. You've done a brilliant job and you've given it opulence. It looks so pretty and so inviting. It's all tied in perfectly. And I'm sure you'll have no trouble shifting it now.
Hope so.
At Helen and James's, James is back, and he's been assigned the simple task of putting some picture hooks up in the now more feminine guest bedroom. And what could possibly go wrong? Best leave it to Helen, who seems pleased with her efforts thus far.
Well, it's been a bit of a whirlwind, to be fair, this week. It started off quite stressful and busy and things, and then as the week's gone on, it's all sort of come together. And now actually doing the finishing touches is really quite fun, and it's come out even better than I thought.
Downstairs, the front reception was a bland, colourless room devoid of any character. Now, by adding some much-needed fun to the decor, this room matches the quality of the rest of the house.
You have done a fantastic job.
Thank you. I'm really pleased. It's turned out even better than I thought.
I love it. You've gone for the kind of aviation theme, and you've kept it quite monochrome with little pops of bright colour. It looks wonderful. So when you came back after your holiday, what did you think of it?
Amazing. Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect it to look like this.
It's one of the first rooms that you see when you come into the house, so it's created a real impact before you get into
This is the boys' room and that's the girls' room.
10 out of 10 for the boys' room. Let's look at the girls' room. I do love it. I think you've been so clever.
The guest bedroom used to feel overly masculine with a mishmash of old furniture. Now they've replaced the bed and removed some of the larger pieces, it feels much more spacious. And adding decorative details gives it a homely vintage feel.
You're so clever. You've got a real eye for interior design.
This looks so much bigger.
Yeah.
But you don't realise until someone says, you know, maybe do this, move this out, change this.
And actually a bit of colour, but it's still quite pale and tranquil, so it still suits my personality with the colour element, and the magnolia is gone.
And I think what's going to work now for any agent, or, you know, when I show the buyers around, you walk in and instantly you're hit with this wow, and it just keeps getting better and better and better and better. And that's what you want. Really clever. It has been worth all the effort.
Although I do feel a bit like I need to carry on doing more and more rooms.
Feels more sailing holidays.
I need to go away again,
I love it. I really do. I think you've done a brilliant job.
Thank you.
I'm in West Sussex getting ready to show 3 properties to my buyers Mark and Julia, who are hoping to use their 825 grand budget to find Mark his perfect home. My 3 sellers have all made the necessary improvements to their homes in the hope of getting an offer. Pat and PA Julie have brought her detached house from a place that felt like an office to a warm, welcoming home.
This is not like my office anymore. It's like a totally new concept. In fact, I might put my price up a bit, Julie.
Yes.
Don't get carried away, Pat. And Sue and Tony have depersonalised and brightened up their house.
I think it's an absolute transformation. And when people come in, they're going to be really impressed.
While Helen and James have managed to bring some of their forgotten rooms up to the high standard of the rest of the house.
I think the buyer's going to like my house, and if they don't, then I'll just stay because I think it's beautiful.
That's not the point, Helen. First stop for my buyers is Pat and Julie's.
So here we go. This is the property that you're going to be seeing. I know that you said you liked old and that you liked character. What do you think of the outside?
It's not wowing me at the moment.
OK.
And it's very close to the road.
Not really grabbing my attention.
No.
To be
All
honest.
right. It's going to be interesting. Let's go in and have a look and see what you think.
There are no wows on the outside, but along with 5 good-sized bedrooms and 2 large receptions, this house now has a new, bright and clutter-free front room.
So come through to one of your reception rooms.
Right.
It's got, I think, tons of character and tons of potential. But I know that with any property, it's got to grab you.
There's nothing much to grab, is there? It's just a square room with a brick fireplace.
It's very sort of old Victorian-y.
OK.
It's not to my taste anyway.
A lot of people like this sort of...
Yeah.
This decor, don't they? This
You're
era.
not one of them.
I'm not one.
Well, you know what? Let's continue. Yeah. We're going to the next room.
It's not looking good, but I can't resist showing them the transformed living room.
So this is a much bigger reception room. Where are we at now?
Don't like the wallpaper.
That can come down. I mean, have you got the vision?
No, not here, I haven't.
So how much do you think the house and the garden is on the market for?
I would say probably about 700.
I was going to say 600.
OK. The house itself and the garden at the back is on at 550.
Okay.
Right. Oh,
with the land, 750. So you could either just buy the
far
house.
off with the land, yeah.
Does that not get the old cogs ticking?
I'd like to just buy the land, I think, not have the house.
OK.
Because I think this is going to be quite a hard house to sell.
Should we go on somewhere else?
Definitely.
I know when I'm beaten.
They're a tough crowd. With Pat's house ruled out, I'm hoping Sue and Tony's might inspire.
So here we are, and very different concept with this one. What do you think of the outside of it?
Like it very much.
Interesting.
Yes,
OK.
very nice.
Well, that's good news. Mark?
Yeah, I like it. It looks like a nice family home.
Yeah. It's a good size, and there's a lot going for it. So let's get inside and have a look.
That's a better response. Into the new light and open hallway.
So entrance hall, is it as good inside as it was outside?
Yeah, it's nice. Very nice. Very welcoming. Really nice. Like it.
What do you think, Mark?
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, it's very nice, very clean and tidy everywhere, and it's nicely done.
Okay, what about the location of the house as well?
Now, I like the fact it's on a golf course, but it does seem very quiet around here and very sort of like, I think
That's what I like.
you'd have a few noise complaints, I think, if you were too loud.
Not if I lived here. We could do a house swap.
Interesting.
On the ground floor, this house has a large country-style kitchen diner, plus another reception room, to go with this one.
So this is the very formal living room, sitting room.
Wow, that is a view, isn't it? Oh, I think it's lovely. It's very nice.
It's nice. I feel bad sort of sitting in here. I want to mess it up.
I wouldn't let you sit in here.
No, it's nice.
It's really nice.
Does this feel like a grown-up house to you?
Massively, yeah.
Really? Too grown-up for you?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, well, let's continue. We'll keep looking around.
The glamorous boutique fourth bedroom next.
Now, you see, I think this room is right up your street, Mark. I could see you in that.
Yeah, nice pink duvet. Yeah, it's very nice, yeah.
You might want to change the duvet. What do you think? I mean, I know decor-wise it's probably not your cup of tea.
Yeah, it's a nice sized room, looking out onto the garden. Yeah, it's lovely.
Let's look at the master bedroom. Think of an enormous television on one of the walls and it not being pink, and then we might be all right. So, here is your master bedroom. Now, you said you wanted a balcony.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
it's nice,
beautiful.
isn't it?
Price-wise, what do you think it's on the market for?
I think it's the top end of the budget. I think it's about 800.
No, I would agree. Yeah, I think top end, yeah, but...
Maybe just over.
You'd get 50 grand change,
Maybe
750.
just, I was about to say 750.
Oh, yeah, of course you were. Well, now I've said it.
I honestly was.
Oh, yeah, I'm surprised. I think it's definitely worth it.
There's one more.
Yeah, we've got to
and
find
I think
you
this has
one.
got your name written all over it.
Good.
I think.
Cool.
I'm hoping.
So this house is much more up Julia Street, but Helen and James's might be just the ticket for Mark.
So this is what I think is more your cup of tea. Yeah. Do you like it?
Oh, yeah, very much so, yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah.
Let's get in and have a look.
Good start. Let's hope it continues when we get into the newly revamped and playful den.
So, what we have here is what the family that live here at the moment use for their boys' playroom. And you could just have it as a big grown-up boys' playroom, I guess.
Stick a little pool table
That
in there or something.
wallpaper is fantastic.
Yeah, my initial impressions of this house is it's almost perfect, isn't it, really? Like,
It's exactly as we would have liked to imagine we would have done it.
Right, this is the playroom. The rest of the living we can go into in a minute, and then straight across there is your fourth bedroom, which is the guest room, which is going to be your room when you come and stay. So why don't you lead the way, Mum, and you can see whether or not you like it.
The house has 4 large bedrooms, including the now feminine guest bedroom downstairs.
Oh, this is nice.
I thought you'd like this.
Yeah, lovely, isn't it?
you'd be a happy guest, wouldn't you?
Yeah, definitely. I'm coming to stay.
What are you thinking?
I like the fact that they've got the wallpaper on this wall and then the same colours on these walls, and having that as like a feature wall.
Yeah,
I think it looks
you
good.
like it. Yeah. Is this house working better for you than the other houses that you've looked at?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
This is like the end
This is
project.
This is more what I've been looking for, really, isn't it?
Let's go and look at the main hub of the house, the kitchen. So here we go, the epicentre, the hub of the house. I get the feeling that you kind of quite want a party house, don't you? Well, not every day, obviously.
Yeah, you could have a great party in here, couldn't you?
This lends itself
Really
very
nice
well.
kitchen, yeah. It's good. I like the fact that it opens onto the back garden.
Yeah, that's what
really
I like.
nice.
It's ready to go. It's just whether or not you want to be ready to go.
Definitely something to think about. It is very nice, very nicely done. I really like the layout as well.
I thought this would be you.
Oh, yeah,
definitely my favourite out of the 3 by a mile.
Well, that's good. Julia?
Yeah, but I think it's my favourite too. I didn't think you could beat the last one, but actually, yeah, I like this one.
The viewings are done, and it doesn't take a genius to work out Mark's favourite. So, what's next?
The last property with the hot tub
Was nice.
kind of got you quite excited, didn't it?
It was really nice. No, I definitely would like to go back and view that with my girlfriend.
Okay.
And possibly, show my dad as well. I think he'd like to see it, wouldn't he? And
Yeah.
it's definitely something to think about because I really liked it.
Yeah.
But part of me saying, it's top end of the budget. Would I like to, get
Not
something
do
a little
anything.
bit cheaper and put my own thoughts and own, and give it a bit more satisfaction with the end product, knowing that I've created that. It needs to go home and have a think about it.
Do let me know, won't you? Because I'm looking for a weekend retreat by the sea so I can bag-see the downstairs bedroom, if that's all right.
Yeah, definitely. No worries.
Helen and James are delighted that the buyer has decided to come back for a second viewing.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Great.
No,
Really
really
good.
pleased, pleased, because I love this house and it's really important that the next person loves this house as much as I do.
And the other sellers aren't going to let the fact they didn't get a second viewing dampen their spirits.
What we've done, we've really learnt from, and we're already looking at other rooms that we can do just to make sure that when buyers do come in, they really like it.
And now, with downstairs equaling upstairs, we'll have an offer. I'm sure I can do a bet with you. We'll get an offer. I was thinking 6 weeks. There you go. There you go.